Good morning. Can you hear me good? If you can hear me, just give me a thumbs up. Give me an emoji into the comment box. Monday morning coffee. Yes, can you hear me? I'll see. Just want to make sure. Yes, you can hear. Wonderful. I'll see like some people are joining right now. What do you think about my cup? Pretty cool, huh? Actually, it's my daughter's cup, so better say it right. Otherwise, I'm gonna hear you. I'm gonna hear it. So, how's been your weekend? Um, like my wife went into Germany, and traveling is kind of a little different right now. And she was saying that like planes are like very empty, but there's still some people traveling. It's just a little bit funky the way it all happened. But what can you do? Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Monday Morning Coffee. Today I want to talk with you about like where do you need to start with your business, with what you want to start with, what you want to do. And a lot of people are just, yeah, but I don't know where to start. You start with what you have, where you are right here, right now. And this is one of the things that I see a lot of people which are procrastinating. And I was one of them, by the way. I had this idea of creating this podcast already like since 2000 and I would say probably 2007, 2008, when I saw Gary Vaynerchuk doing his YouTube channel about wine at the time. And I don't know if you're familiar with Gary V, but he was the wine guy. He really climbed rapidly into social media and in the wine game, where that everybody was saying, this young kid doesn't know anything about wine and blah blah blah. Good morning, Greg. Good morning, Guillermo Perez here. Danduan's here. Say hi when you are joining, when you're tuning in. And Gary V was like really understood the power of social media from a very early age. I mean, from the internet, actually, for the business of his parents. He understood how to tap into the internet. And when you are going back in 1997, when the internet like really started like to become mainstream, and like this is where he started. And like he didn't know about internet, but what he understood is just, wow, there's a great opportunity for me to present our product there. And he created like an email list and stuff like from there, where that nobody would buy online at the time. Nobody would do that. But what do? Like you start waiting that everything's gonna be perfect before you start, or you start with what you have. And this is a mistake that, again, everybody is doing. Everybody is waiting that the waves pass, and then they get on the wave when the wave is already on the way down. So if you do have an idea, if you do want to be an entrepreneur, if you do want to do something, start where you are with what you have right here, right now. And this is one of the things that we're teaching, like my wife and I, and that my daughter, like all the information that she's using. Like yesterday she did her first coaching call. Imagine that, 9-year-old. And she did her first coaching call with a little girl that she was curious, like, how did you start like doing your page and your business, and start like to sell your painting, and I'm following you and I really like what you're doing, all this. How did it happen? Well, she started with what she had, which when it all started like into the lockdown, where that she had painting but she didn't have any canvas. So what do you do then? Like I'll wait that the lockdown is finishing so I can go and buy canvas. You couldn't go because everything was closed. So you start with what you have. Like I saw an artist that was saying that, when I didn't have any money, I was painting on cardboard and practicing his craft there. Well, my daughter did that with pieces of wood, which she saw a piece of wood which was hanging there, and she took it and then she started painting on it. And as she worked on it and worked with what she had, then all of a sudden, like, she started developing her technique, like tried some stuff. And I mean, like, I'm not gonna go into details about everything that she tried because sometimes it was smelling really bad. And but if you're not starting somewhere, if you're not experimenting, because you're gonna make mistakes. The problem I see as well is, like, people say, oh, I want to wait that it's all perfect, that I have the perfect plan. Your plan is flawed, okay? You can have the perfect plan, that plan is flawed. As you're putting it on paper, it's already flawed. You know why? Because as you're moving forward, you're missing information. You're gonna have some new data that's gonna operate, that you're gonna have some new things that's gonna come. You're gonna have some curveball throw at you. So if you are expecting your plan to be perfect, you are already procrastinating, because that plan will never be perfect. It will always be flawed. What I am observing from business people which are really, really good at what they're doing, Maria just joined, Daniela is here as well. When the difference between very successful people and the rest is they are capable of adapting and changing their plan based on the new information that's coming in. The goal never changes, right? So if you are having a goal, okay, I want to do this, and you're starting with a plan because you need a plan, right? That's good to have a plan. This is sound to have a plan. But waiting that the plan is perfect to get started this is where that you are putting the stick in your wheel, and basically you will never start, because if you're waiting for the plan to be perfect, never gonna happen. So you gotta start with what you have, and then you take action right now with what you have. And what you're gonna realize is then people will come to you and ask you and confirm and help you understand what you need to tweak and adjust and see, and then as you're taking that, then all of a sudden, like, everything starts to build up. And that's exactly what happened to Gary Vee, to take him, or on a closer thing, to my daughter, which now she realized, okay, you know what, this is not working, that technique is not working, okay, I can do it this way, and then found something that she loves to do, techniques that she loves, she experimented, and that it's creating great results for her. Now she started to get demanded, she started to get order, and then the success comes, right? But the success and what she's having there is an effect of her working with the cause. And again, this is what I'm teaching to my clients. She's applying what I'm teaching to my clients. My wife and I are working with her on a daily basis, just to making sure that she understands how her mind operates and how that she can use what she already knows. She can use, like, her talent, she can use her abilities. And this, everybody has that. What I would say the difference with her is that she has the guidance from us. Because we are studying, because we understand, we can pass that information. When she experiences fear, I can teach her and allowing her to understand how fear comes and what you can do to address it. And that makes the whole difference. Because I've seen so many parents that, for example, you're having a challenge with a little comrade at school, and now all of a sudden, like, that person is mean and It comes out of nowhere, and as a parent, like, you want to protect your child, totally understandable. But if you're coming from understanding how the mind works and showing and teaching your children what is happening in the mind that makes someone act this way, and what is your reaction, how can you react towards the action of someone else, you can disamorse something that can escalate normally just by understanding where it's coming from. And when you do that, then you give them great tools. They become confident. They can walk. I mean, I was looking at her like this morning into her tennis, and the way that she's walking around, where the coach says, you can't do that, you can't do that, you can't do that. And she's just like, yeah, I can do it, because like that is what I have in my mind. She's not living from the outside in. She's living from what she wants to create. And that is this ability. She's not special that nobody else has. Every single children has that. So this is why I think the title is really, really good today. Start with what you already have. Every single child has that already. It's about how are you going to utilize this in your life? How are you going to be able to take what you have and apply it and not live out of fear? My wife was telling me another situation that happened at the airport, and I think this is probably the worst that can happen, is, with this idea of like social distancing and all those things, like in the airport now, like you've got some dots on the floor where people needs to be in the corners, right? And as good Germans, they get in and they go in the dots. Spaniard, not so good and not so following, so they just all rush in and are not following rules, right? So you're supposed to have like 4 person in an elevator, which normally you would have, I don't know, like maybe 10, 15 people. Well, the Spaniards are not really following the rules, so they're all rushing inside while there was a family of 7 in there. And then one of the little child saw all of those Spaniards coming in, freaked out. I mean, freaked out, because the parent says, no, we're going to be in the corner by ourselves, our family. And now all of a sudden that child is traumatized, having an emotional impact on this social distancing, because there's a bunch of people coming in. And if you don't know what's happening with fear, how fear operates and work in your body, and you cannot share this with your child and reassure, now all of a sudden this child will have an emotional impact of being scared of people. And I mean, is there something more traumatic than that? Like when you are like, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, I don't know what, and all of a sudden you're scared of people because there's a disease, invisible disease, which is going to catch you because you're too close to someone else. Can you see that this information is so important to understand how your mind works, so you can pass this on to your children and they can live in a place where that they are in control of how that they're operating with their environment. That is so important. And I don't know what you're thinking. Give me your thoughts on that. Drop me a comment about this. Drop me if your child is scared now, and if they know how to react when they see other children. Because I was watching something, and someone was telling that her child at 6-year-old went to the park and saw, like after all of this, right, saw another child, and I think it was like 6-year-old, something like that, and saw another child and did not know how to react toward the other child. Imagine that. How traumatic. Like, they don't know how to react with each other, which normally, I mean, they would just like get close and say, oh, let's go and play, and but now it's about, is that possible? There's all this confusion happening. But as a parent, if you don't know how to support your children and make them understand like what is happening in the body, what is happening in terms of the mind, the subconscious mind and the body, how that information pass through those, and that like you're moving into action, and then you create a reaction which creates your results. If you don't know how to communicate that information to your children, well, then you just become affected and a victim of your environment and whatever news and whatever it says outside and whatever the wind blows, that is what's happening. So it's extremely important that as a parent, you know about how your mind works. You know about how you can pass this information to the people that wants to hear it. Because I tell you, like among my friends, there's a lot of people that they never asked, and they're not necessarily interested into this, and they don't understand the power of passing this type of information to your children, because ultimately this is our responsibility as a parent, is to give the best start possible to our children and bring them and giving them the tools that they can truly be confident, be in charge, create a business, create a life, a successful life based on what they want. Not on what society want, not on what school want, not on what you as a parent want for them, what they want as a being. And I believe that this is what our role is as a parent. So I hope this resonates with you. And if you want to know more, just drop me a message, drop me a DM, and let me know as well what you're thinking in the comment box. If this makes sense, and if you're not agreeing with me and you believe that your children should be educated by school, and this is the best way for them to know and learn truth and learn about how their mind works and how history works. And like when I say history works, it's what truly happened in history, because I haven't seen a lot of history in school lately. Yeah, drop me a message. I want to hear what you're thinking. I want you to put your comments there and share how are you approaching this subject. And if this makes sense, and if you don't agree with me, I want to hear it too. Because it's not about you have to agree with me, but if we're not having a conversation about it, if we're not discussing truly what we can do to empower our children, well, I tell you, we're doomed. And that is not what I'm envisioning for us as humanity, as society. I believe that we're bound for greatness. I truly believe that there's greatness in every single one of you. But for some odd reason, you don't believe it, and you're not expressing it. You're not bringing it to the surface. You're not working at it. And if this message doesn't resonate, if you feel that you are working at it, then kudos to you and mention it. Because the more we are gathering together, the more all of us, which are striving for success, striving for greatness, striving for empowering us as a race and a human being, well, the faster this can happen. But if you're not agreeing with me, and if you believe that everything that you hear on television and the news and all those things that's the way it should go, well, I want to hear it. I want to have an open conversation. It's not about censorship. Like, that's not the way I'm operating here. I want to hear it. So I hope this message resonates with you, and if it does, like, drop us a message, and so we can just continue conversation. Have a spectacular week. I'll see you next Monday. Peace out.